Your mix doesn't sound good enough? Let me show you how we can get from here to there. This video is about getting the most out of every element inside your mix, so your mix sounds full and well dynamically controlled in the end. So what's this technique about? Let's check it out. Imagine a plant located inside a glass box. As soon as the plant touches the roof, every branch will stop growing immediately. You want to grow it as big as possible, so what do you do against it? You have to cut all the different branches and leaves that come too close to the roof carefully. So where's the connection between the plant and your mix? Let me explain. The single branches and leaves are representative for your elements in your mix. The height of your branches is your level of your element. The glass roof is your maximum loudness. We need to dynamically control all of our elements so they don't create any unnecessary spikes in our mix. So how do we do that? We have to make the glass roof visible. So this can be done by using a limiter. So my limiter of choice is the Pro L by FabFilter, but you can use whatever limiter, compressor, saturator, whatever you want that has a visual representation of loudness and time. So here is the mix without any clipping. So I've just grouped all the clippers and all the compression and all the dynamic control. So you can actually visually see how much gain reduction the limiter has to apply to get it to a certain volume, which is minus 9.8 loops. So if I enable our processing now by hitting the 1, you can see there is less dynamic compression. The limiter has to do less, but we're at the same volume. So this is what we are going to learn. So here we have our kick drum, and you will always want to display it here in your Pro L. You have your glass roof on top, which is the red line here. Each element, you're just watching it very closely on the true peak level, which is displayed here. This is the white one, and the RMS level, which is down here. So you can see the RMS level. It's actually at minus 15 dB, and the true peak is at 0 dB. And the difference between those two is called the crest factor. So the higher the crest factor, the more dynamic your element is. The lower the crest factor, the more squashed, the more loud your element will appear. So now we have our kick here, and we can just simply apply a saturator here. So just go and insert a saturator by double-clicking it. And you can already see, without giving any drive here, it's just shaving off our very first transient. We're also losing a little bit of punchiness, so let's put a utility afterwards. And now let's increase our gain again, because now we've taken away true peak here. So if we bypass those two together now, we can see we have the same true peak here, but we have a higher RMS level. So this is our RMS, it's here at minus 12 with our saturator. And without it, the true peak is the same, but our RMS level, it's way lower. It's like at minus 14 or something. So like we've gained 2 or 3 dBs of RMS perceived loudness here only in that kick element. So this is the thing I'm talking about here in this whole tutorial, okay? Just squashing your elements until they come to life as much as they should. By the way, this is a track I made fully with my Organica 3 sample pack and with my new preset pack. So if you want, you can support me and buy those sample packs, and then I can just continue doing videos for you. Drums, percussive elements with a lot of transients, that's good with saturators. But with synthesizers and vocals, for example, I wouldn't recommend you using a saturator because it will sound pretty distorted pretty soon. More transparent, like limiters, good compressors, that's good for vocals, good for guitars, stuff that you don't want the clipping to be audible. Alright, so let's take a look at our hi-hat. So with high elements, you have to apply a lot more drive than with lower elements. So let's go and dial in 20 dB of drive here. 20 in, minus 20 out, so we're not like messing with the whole mix. So now the saturator is turned on. If I turn it off, you can already see. Now we've reduced the true peak here, but it doesn't seem that it's quieter actually. Start increasing our output to the same level where our element was before we applied the saturation. So now you can really feel when I enable the saturator, the element gets perceived louder, but it actually is not louder. Just the RMS level got lifted up here. This is what you do with all of your drums, all your single tracks. Now we've applied saturation and clipping to all of our elements. They are dynamically controlled, but now we have to watch the plant in the glasshouse as a whole thing. So we will go and readjust the mix now. So the first thing you should do is what we already did, turning up the kick until it barely touches the roof here. So this is how you set an anchor for your mix. Let's solo the bass and let's just dial it in. We could turn it up even more, but you can see it sums up with the kicks, sinus waves, they add each other and they're creating new spikes. This is why you should also use sidechain compression, not because like the kick will duck away, but because those together they will create more energy actually. The summed up sinus waves in a low frequency area, they will create new spikes that will trigger your mastering limiter afterwards. Let's set this up, sidechain, peak mode. So if we now bypass the compressor, we see it's like 3 dBs of summed up signal, but with the sidechain enabled it's only about 0.71 dB. So now we've already like saved 2 dBs of headroom here. Another thing you can do is you put those two elements, the kick and the bass, together in one group, and now you insert another saturator on that group. So only by inserting the saturator you will see we won't have any spikes going above our glass roof anymore. So we can start by dialing in our synth now. And you're just watching this limiter for new peaks. When is the point when there's a new peak? Now. So now we can also set up a sidechain on this element. So this is the actual reason why you're using a sidechain. And now we can turn the element up a little bit more. Cool thing is now you have like a technical feedback when your element is too loud. And that's something I've never had, you know, and I always wanted. Okay, so to sum it all up. You've produced your track, you're happy with your synthesizers, with your elements, with your arrangement, and now you can just push it up a little bit more by watching every single element of your track within your limiter and applying a little bit of dynamic control here and there. After you've applied your dynamic control, sum up your elements in groups and mix them in. Problems will reoccur, things will sum up. You create groups, you compress and clip those groups again, and this is how you really like dynamically control your whole track. So let's A/B this one more time. So I've mapped all the compressors and all the dynamic controls to the key 1. And now it's on, but now I will disable it. You can see we have like 4 dB gain reduction here, and it also doesn't sound that punchy anymore. Alright, so thanks for watching. If you want to see a tutorial on how I create those patches inside Diva, please let me know. I would love to do one for you. Leave a comment below and just have a great day. Bye bye.